We have a very inspiring speaker today. Her name is Fatih Broussard Cade, and we welcome you all to her Fleur Speaks Personal Affirmation Workshop. Faith is a mental health counselor, an author, a self-care expert. She understands that our words and thoughts have a profound effect on our life experiences. Let's all learn how to create personal affirmations that empower you to take an active role in the life you want. Join me in welcoming Fatih Broussard Cade.
Good afternoon, everyone. How are you? Thank you for being here on a Saturday afternoon. Thank you for taking the time out of your schedule and your day and to sit in a room with a bunch of other people and listen to me talk. I appreciate that. I don't ever take it for granted. I feel like it's an honor and a blessing for me to be here. And so I'm always especially grateful when people show up. Hello. When I say that, when I say thank you for showing up, I don't just mean showing up in this space, in this room. Anytime that you anytime that you show up to something like this, a workshop, something self-empowerment, something dealing with mental health, or in any space where you're learning something, not only are you showing up in that space, but you're showing up for yourself. You are saying, I am valuable, I am worthy, I am worth spending time learning something that can help me live better, be better, contribute better to the world. So thank you for showing up for yourself, because we live in a society where there's not a whole lot of emphasis on taking care of ourselves in order to take care of other people in the best way that we can, right? We grew up seeing our mothers, grandmothers, fathers work themselves to the bone to take care of us and to take care of everybody in the community and cousins and uncles and all of that. And to a certain extent, we may or may not have known that they themselves were burning out, trying to do everything for everybody and be everything for everybody and not be anything for themselves. So that is a big part of my platform. It's a big part of what I do, is teaching people that you have to put your own oxygen mask on first, right? When you fly on a plane, they tell you, in case of an emergency, even if you're sitting with your kids, put your mask on first, because if you aren't alive, you can't help them. If you're not taking care of yourself, you cannot help them. So thank you for being here, and thank you for being willing to take this time to take care of yourself. I always start my presentations with my story, because without my story, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be doing this. This is not my career of choice. My name is Fatih Broussard Cade. I was born and raised in New Iberia, Louisiana. All of my family still lives here. Graduated from the Episcopal School of Acadiana in 2003. Went on to study English and French studies at the University of the South in Swanee, Tennessee, and then proceeded to Vanderbilt University in Nashville to get my master's degree in human development counseling. So I started my career as a professional school counselor, and I loved it. I distinctly remember the day that I decided it was what I wanted to do. Um, I was doing an internship at a school. There was a child who was about to be expelled, and um, and for fighting and getting in trouble. He lived in poverty. He didn't have a safe place to turn to. He didn't have someone to talk to about anything. And he was expelled from school in elementary school. And I remember thinking to myself, how could his life have been different if he had had a safe space or a safe person to talk to? I truly believe, and maybe it's the counselor, the therapist in me, I truly believe that people deserve the benefit of the doubt, that people are good inherently, right? Naturally, we are good. Circumstances and trials and tribulations of life and abuse and trauma is what changes our mindsets and changes our brains to make poor choices, or being in a situation of desperation where you feel like you don't have any other choice, you may make a poor choice. But I don't believe that innately people set out and wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to be a bad person. I'm going to do something wrong. So I thought to myself, well, how could that child have been helped? Because now he's on a track for an unsuccessful life. And it's very rare that he will be able to get back on track. And I felt that if I worked as a school counselor, that is a service that I could have provided. My office could have been a safe space for that child. Oftentimes, mental health care is not accessible or available to people who need it most because it is expensive. Oftentimes to see a therapist, if you don't have health insurance, you're paying $200, $250 an hour for a counseling session. So people who are in poverty, people who have low income, people who just are living day to day, maybe even a 2-income household with groceries, the cost that they are, like, you don't have any money for anything extra. So the people who need it most are the people who don't get it. So my choice to go into school counseling was for that. I worked as a school counselor. I started out in Nashville. I did it for a couple of years. And then I got engaged and I got married to my husband, and we moved to Atlanta, which is where he's from and where we currently live. Continued to work as a school counselor there. And I felt that something was missing. I felt the original motivation behind me becoming a school counselor was being lost in the daily shuffle of reports and discipline and paperwork and, meetings and all this other stuff that I couldn't really embrace these babies because, oh, I'm sorry, honey, I know you're crying and having a crisis, but Miss Cade's got to go run and get so-and-so because he's fallen out in class or has to go deal with a discipline issue. So I felt that I wasn't really doing what I was called to do. And I'm a firm believer in the fact that sometimes we are prompted to move. We are prompted to move in a different direction in life. Some of us are more stubborn than others, and we don't necessarily move when we get that little nudge. And so then sometimes life just comes like a Mack truck and forces us to go and do the thing that we know we were meant to do. That's exactly what happened to me. I was on my way to work as a school counselor in Johns Creek, which is a suburb of Atlanta, Georgia, January 9th, 2018, about 6:57 in the morning, sitting at a stoplight, hit from behind by a tractor trailer, full speed. From that accident, I sustained a concussion and a traumatic brain injury. Those conditions are two conditions that I still deal with every single day. Traumatic brain injuries don't go away. You learn to manage the symptoms a little bit better. You learn to manage the challenges better, but it doesn't ever go away. So, have a brain injury. I'm in excruciating pain. I'm going 4 to 5 days straight without sleeping because now I have chronic insomnia and chronic headaches, sensitivity to light and sound, and the shower water touching my skin makes my skin crawl. Like I'm having all of these sensory issues and I'm not being properly diagnosed. Finally was properly diagnosed, and I had to make a choice because now my leave is exhausted from work. Public school system says, we don't care if you worked here for over 10 years, come back, being cleared by your doctors, resign, or we terminate you. Those are your 3 choices. So I resigned because I hadn't even begun to start treatment to get better. I knew I couldn't do the job the way I was. So I resigned, took some time at home, started seeing doctors, and was still in my mind trying to be the superwoman that I had always been. I was still trying to be room mom for my daughter's preschool class and baking homemade treats. And I was still trying to make all the meals and clean the house and figure out another way that I could make money because now I don't have a job anymore, doing all the things. And my doctors told me, if you do not get somewhere and sit down and just stop, you will never completely recover. Your brain will not heal because you need to be idle and not be doing it. Anybody who knows me, anybody who knows my mom out there knows that sitting idle was not an option, right? We're involved in so many things. We're doing service projects, we're volunteering, we're doing our job, we're babysitting other people's kids. We're just always doing stuff. So for me, I had to make a choice between keeping up the facade that I am okay and that I can still do everything like I used to be able to, or do I want to forfeit that facade for a possible future where I could live a functional life, where maybe I could choose to have another child, or maybe I could choose to have a different career. So I had to choose my future. And in choosing my future, I decided we're broke because we went from 2 incomes to 1. I can't go on spa trips and spa dates and girls trips and do all these fun things and go on shopping sprees. I have to figure out, how can I take care of myself, encourage myself, and help myself in a way that is consistent and sustainable for me. I can't look at what everybody else is doing and how everybody else is taking care of themselves. How can I do it to fit my lifestyle? I'd always been a writer, always loved to write in journals, diaries. I had been writing blog posts for a while, and so I decided to, I had pens and I had paper, and I decided that I would create a self-love challenge, a 15-day challenge on Instagram. I would take 5 minutes a day, have this little square of paper, write a positive affirmation to myself, and post it on Instagram for accountability. So like if I said on Instagram, I'm going to do this, people were expecting me to do it, so I couldn't flake out on myself. I did it, started writing them slowly, but surely people started responding to them and said, I feel like you wrote that just for me. That's exactly what I needed to hear today. Or, how do you know my life? That's exactly what I needed. You're so encouraging. And I think it was because I was choosing to be transparent. I wasn't pretending. I wasn't trying to make it seem like I was okay, because I wasn't. I was struggling every single day to be a wife and to be a mom. And now in this new place of trying to figure out who I am, because I had always identified as a counselor, as a helper, and now I don't have my job anymore. So now who am I? My identity was wrapped up in what I did for a living and how I helped people. Started that 15-day challenge slowly but surely. People started responding, sending me messages, being so grateful. And I get to the end of the 15 days and I realize I can't stop writing these notes because I was doing them to heal myself, or to facilitate my healing journey, because I was in a very dark place. But I realized that my efforts to heal myself was indirectly helping other people to heal and giving other people the permission that they needed to say, you know what, I'm not okay either. I'm struggling too. I'm struggling with my marriage. I'm struggling to raise my kids. I'm struggling to maintain some sense of normalcy for myself when people are pulling me in a million different directions. Everybody needs me all the time, and I'm spent. I'm tired. Got to the end of 15 days, couldn't write them, couldn't stop writing them, and now here I am 6 years later, still writing them. So there's hundreds of them at this point, thousands probably, because sometimes I write more than one a day. It just depends. It comes to me kind of as a download. I think of it as a download from God. I hear it, or I feel it, or I experience it, and I have to write it. As soon as it comes. I could be driving, I have to pull over on the side of the road, or I have to type it in my phone really quick. So I started writing these affirmations down on paper, started posting them. Slowly but surely, they started gaining traction. Slowly but surely, people started reposting them. Celebrities like Viola Davis and Shonda Rhimes and Jada Pinkett Smith and Katie Couric and Maria Shriver. And then people started asking me for interviews to be on CNN and Yahoo and Maria Shriver's Sunday paper. And I realized that my personal healing was leading to the collective healing of a lot of other people, and that I wasn't just doing this for me anymore, which is why this is such a blessing for me to continue to do, because I didn't seek this out. I didn't go out there doing this to get notoriety or fame or anything. It simply was, I need to heal. I need to get better. And how can I do this in the midst of everything that's going on? So fast forward a few years, here we are. And I have traveled to speak. I have done women's retreats and workshops. I've done my own personal events. I have self-published 2 books, a flip book calendar, and in the beginning of September 5th, my newest book will be released, published by HarperCollins Publishers, called Shine Bright Anyway. And it is a 90-day motivational book. There will be pictures of my notes in them in full color, as well as stories to go along with them to kind of guide you through a 90-day process. So that's my story. That's where the affirmations started. I didn't sit down and start thinking these things up. It literally came out of one of the most desperate times of my life, where I needed comfort, and I realized that I could not seek comfort are the answers to the questions that I was having outside of myself, because nobody else can make those decisions for me. Nobody else can answer those questions for me. I have to be willing to do the work to see that all along, all the tools that I've ever needed to be strong, to be healthy, to thrive have always been inside of me. I may not have recognized them. I may have thought I was trying to be humble, but was really playing small, and not giving myself enough credit. But it was always there. And so that's what I try to do in these personal affirmation workshops, is to help you and empower you to see what is inside of you already that you can use to make your life better, to motivate yourself, to be more determined, to be more active and proactive in your. Does that make sense? It's a lot of, yeah? Okay. So, how many of you make New Year's resolutions or New Year's intentions, or you make a vision board or something like? Okay, right. So same. And I got to the month of April and thought to myself, after completing my 4-month trial of 2024, I'd like to cancel my subscription to this thing, because this is not working the way I thought it was going to work. The things that I wrote down in my journal and put stickers and stars by and all that, I hadn't been really following through on those things, right? We get super ambitious in the beginning of the year. I'm going to go to the gym. This year is going to be different. I'm going to get the premium membership to the gym. I'm going to make my coffee at home in the Keurig instead of spending money every day at Starbucks. I'm going to purge my closet and all that stuff that I keep thinking I'm going to fit back into that I haven't in 10 years. I'm finally going to donate that stuff. Like, I'm going to do it this year. And 4 months in, we have not been doing it, right? I don't even know where my vision board is. Those clothes I was going to donate are still riding around in trash bags in the back of my car. I still wait in that Starbucks line in the morning for my coffee. I haven't been to the gym at all. So why is it that the year's still new? We're 4 months in, but we haven't stayed true to what we said we would do, or things that we wanted to do, or were so excited to do in the beginning. Maybe we set those intentions with other people in mind. Maybe they weren't truly personal for us. Maybe they were, oh, I see that my friend is getting in shape and doing a better job. Maybe I should do that too, knowing that I don't necessarily have the space in my life with my situation right now to do that. But we try to imitate that. But then the guilt squeezes in, because, like, why do I feel this way? I am blessed. I have a good life. I have a beautiful family. I have support. I'm able to provide food for my family. Why is it that I am not feeling grateful and blessed and as excited about the year as I did when it began? And from what I've discovered from my own experience, but also from a lot of my counseling clients, is that many of them, and maybe some of you, are experiencing something called burnout. And we use the term a lot, very flippantly, but burnout essentially is defined as a state of emotional, mental, and physical exhaustion brought on by prolonged or repeated stress. It is a state of chronic stress that leads to physical and emotional exhaustion, cynicism and detachment, and feelings of ineffectiveness and lack of accomplishment. So if any of that resonates with you, you are not alone. A lot of us use terms like, I'm worn out, I'm empty, I'm running on fumes, I don't have anything left to give. And sometimes we feel ourselves getting to that point, but then we say, well, if I'm not falling apart, that must mean that I need to keep pushing, that I need to keep trying, I need to add something else to my plate, that I need to commit to one other obligation or one other social event or whatever the case may be. We don't allow ourselves to feel and acknowledge that we are getting to a place of burnout until we're way too close to our limit or we're past that limit. And now we feel like we can't get back. We feel like nothing that we do is ever good enough. You lose focus and concentration a lot throughout the day. You have a hard time attending to one task and completing it. Even at work, you feel like you're running in circles. At home, after you've worked a full day, now you've got to do your second job and dinner ready and take care of children and all these other things. And you don't feel like you have what you need to be able to continue doing this every day. But the key to fighting burnout is less. And before people misquote me, let me be clear, I'm not telling you to quit your job. I'm not telling you to stop cooking and feeding your kids. I'm not telling you to stop doing laundry. I'm not telling you to, sell all your belongings and go off the grid and travel the world. What I'm saying is the opposite of burnout is engagement. So when was the last time that you felt fully and totally engaged in the thing that you were doing? And I want you guys to think about that, because most people say, well, I'm always doing stuff. I'm always in the moment. But are you really? There are so many times that I am watching cartoons with my kids, but my mind is not in it. My body's in that room, but my mind is not in that room. My mind is on that load of laundry that I left in the washer for 2 days, probably in soured and needs to be rewashed. And the field trip fee that I need to send in for next week. And did I take something out to thaw for dinner? And just all these different things. Oh, did I add such and such to my grocery list? How many rolls of toilet paper do we have left in the house? It's that constant, ongoing bombardment in your mind of all of the things that need to be done. So if you find yourself in that space, and not saying that those things aren't important, because they are, we need to take care of them. But when they get to the point they consume us and we are not ever fully present in a space to enjoy something, then that becomes problematic, because now you're just almost floating through life. I kind of describe it for my clients as almost dissociating from yourself. So being outside of your body, looking down at yourself, and you're seeing yourself do these things almost like on autopilot. You're supposed to do them, so you do them, but you are not really feeling anything. You're not enjoying anything. You eat a whole meal and don't even remember if it was good or not. How many people get in their car to go somewhere and you get to that place, but you don't remember driving the route there, right? Not that you were intoxicated or that you were influenced by anything, but you really, you don't even remember all the streets you turned on to get to where you were going, because you literally are like a robot. You're on autopilot. You're just doing the thing that you're supposed to do. Most of us live that way every single day. And when we are in that space, what we need to do is reduce the amount of time we spend doing things that don't bring us joy and be intentional about adding more things to our lives that do bring us joy. Some things are non-negotiables, but others are not. So I'm the first to admit it. There are quite a few things on my calendar that I allow to take up space that are not necessary. So I'm an introvert at heart, but some days I wake up and feel very extroverted and very social, and I get very ambitious. And so I start texting friends saying, hey, let's hang out. Let's go shopping. Let's do this. Let's do that. And then as the time gets closer, I'm hoping that they cancel because didn't really ever want to do it in the first place. And now I'm scared because I don't want to be a bad friend, but I just, in that moment, I wanted to, but now I don't want to do it anymore. Or, the millions of baby showers and weddings and bridal showers, and birthday parties and little league games, and just all of these things that can take up our time. Or I don't have a good enough reason to tell them I can't make it, so I should go. Or they were nice enough to invite me anyway, so I feel obligated to go. You don't always have to have something on your calendar to be unavailable. You can need time to rest. Doesn't mean because I need time to rest that is an open time slot for you to schedule me to do something, because rest is a necessity. It's not a luxury. And many of us have come to a place where we feel that it is a luxury, that after we've worked ourselves into the ground, now we deserve to rest. But the resting comes simply because we are human and we deserve it, and our bodies need it in order to perform its best in any other situation. Does that make sense? Yeah. Questions? Okay.
No good.
So when you decide that you want to make these shifts in life, that you want to change, that you want to rest, that you want to carve out space for yourself, a lot of times you'll start hearing that voice inside of your head that tells you you're being lazy, that there are lots of other things you need to be doing or could be doing, that people need you, that people are counting on you, that you can't just do things for yourself. And that is your inner voice or your inner critic that judges or criticizes or gives you this debilitating fear of failure or procrastination. Like, if I'm not working all the time, then I'm going to miss out on something. If I'm not actively working on something all the time, then an opportunity is going to pass me by that I'll never be able to get back. There's this fear of missing out on something. But we have to choose that what we believe is for us, the opportunities that are meant for us, will be there for us, whether we work ourselves to the bone or not. What is meant for us will be there for us to participate in, to accept, to choose. Just because something is a good opportunity doesn't mean that it's a good for me opportunity. And that's something that I've had to learn as a wife, as a mom, and doing this work. Plenty of people are, hey, can you come and speak at this out of town? Can you do this? Can you do that? Well, that would be a great opportunity. However, I'd have to miss piano recitals, and I'd have to miss, important award ceremonies with my kids, or I have to cancel sessions with my clients that may be in crisis. So I have to make a choice. And for every yes that you say, there is less of you for other things, right? If I say, yes, I will come and speak at your event, then there's less of me. I have less time to give to maybe something I wanted to do or something that is going on with my family. Because we don't have unlimited capacity. We only have what we have. We can't stretch ourselves beyond the capacity that we have, the time that we have, the concentration that we have. So we have to make those hard choices and save our yeses for the things that really matter and the things that we really love and enjoy and want to be a part of. In order to create affirmations that are positive and that work for us, we also need to learn to trust our own voice. And I know that this is something that I have struggled with my whole life. I am a rule follower. Like, give me a book of rules and I will follow it. Tell me what I'm supposed to do and I will do it. Tell me what time I'm supposed to be there. I'll be there 10 minutes early. Like that. It's ingrained in me to obey, to follow directions.
Really?
However, when you leave home and you don't have somebody giving you directions anymore, now you're an adult. You got to make your own decisions. You got to decide your own direction that may be different from the direction somebody else chose for you or wanted you to go. And that can be scary because now all of a sudden you're expected to feel confident in your decisions, to feel confident that if I choose this over this, that's a good idea, and not being afraid to fail. So many of us are afraid to fail. We're afraid to make a choice because what if it doesn't work out? What if, what if I start this business and it doesn't make any money? What if I send my child to this school and they end up having a bad experience? So we're constantly in fear of making decisions and we don't trust ourselves. But in order to create the life that we want, we have to make choices. And we have to be okay with making those choices. We have to be okay with, at this moment in time, this is what I believe and feel is the best thing for me. If it turns out not to work out, I did the best I could in that moment. I have to be resolved and I have to be at peace with the fact that I chose this and I did the best that I could. I have to be okay with my best because your best is all you can get. You don't have anything more than your best, right? Some of us feel like we're doing a great job of holding ourselves together. And we're doing that for the sake of the people around us. We're trying to take care of everything and everybody, but maybe inside we don't feel as confident as we project on the outside. To be on the outside, people, oh my, you're so organized, you have things together, you're always, doing this, your kids are always so well mannered, and they don't know on the inside how you are writing yourself ragged, how your mind is being stretched in a billion directions, how you lay up at night worrying about those things on your to-do list that you didn't cross off, or the things that you meant to get to but you didn't, or how is me not doing this or not doing that going to affect somebody else, or does it create more work for me later down the line? There's this constant sense of worry and the sense of not enoughness. I haven't done enough. I haven't performed enough. I haven't given enough. And that then keeps us in a state of worry, fear, anxiety, but also in a place where we don't feel confident that we can do the things we were meant to do. Our best is not what we've given once we find ourselves depleted and worn out. Our best is what we're able to give others while still maintaining a healthy standard of care for ourselves. So your best is not, I'm falling apart, but I made sure that everybody around me was okay. Your best is, I'm still here. I'm still standing. I am healthy. I am taken care of. And the people around me got what they needed. Maybe they didn't get everything that they wanted, but they got what they needed. And I was able to help support them in that. So how do we create personal affirmations that are in alignment with who you are, what you believe, and how you want to live your life? I think of it as almost reverse engineering system. So you start with, where do I want to be? How do I want to feel every day? And then I create the words and the affirmations that get me to that place, to feel that way. How do you want to feel about yourself, your body, your health, your career, your family, your finances, your mindset, and your mental health? Think big. This is your chance to think outside of the box, not something, general, like, I want to be happy.
Like,
we all want to be happy. What does happiness mean for you? Because happy has different meanings and different connotations for everybody, right? Start your affirmations with I, because it's about you. It's about me. It's not about anybody else. So start it with, and then I use present tense. So I am instead of I want to be. I am positive. I am empowered to make good choices. I am confident in my ability to make good decisions. I am excited about going to work today. Speak it as though it weren't true. It doesn't have to be true, but you speak it as though it is. I am financially stable. I am loved and cared for and fulfilled. I am valuable and I am appreciated.
Yeah.
All of you should have received a little box, a personal affirmation kit when you came in. It should have one of my favorite type of pin in it. If you're an educator, you'll understand. Papermate Fleur pins are top notch. Thanks, Papermate, for the partnership and for sponsoring all these pins, all of our friends. And then you'll also find a few sheets of paper. Paper that you have is called handmade cotton deckled paper, and it is the exact paper that I use to write my personal. So you have pens, you have paper, and you have just a couple minutes, if you'd like to write a couple of things that speak to you.
That's very nice.
It doesn't have to be anything especially profound. It just has to be something that matters to you. It could be something as simple as I am patient with my children. Stuff that's in my yes, that's one of my co-parents. I am learning to be patient with my children.
Good.
And the way that you keep these present
Yes.
in your life is by making, you've got to be able to see them. Gotta see them.
Yeah.
Too. So the psychology behind it is the more places of input you have to receive this, the more likely it is to stick in your brain, more likely you are to manifest it. So writing it, that's one way. Then having it posted up somewhere, whether it's in your office at work, on your mirror at home, any place that's really like visible. Some people put them on their dashboard or in their daily planner. So keep these visible, because the more that you see them, the more that you are able to manifest them. So writing them, seeing them, hearing them. So repeating them, hearing yourself say them out loud is also important. And you can find lots of things out, even like on Amazon. I got this cute little necklace, I think it was from Target, for maybe $10. It said, "You are enough," on it, or "I am enough." So even if you can find pieces of jewelry that have affirmations on them that speak to you, right? That you can also just kind of have as a reminder with you every day, whether it's a bracelet or ring or something like that. Those are also great ways to keep those thoughts at the forefront of your mind to help you to be manifesting them throughout the day. And attach positive emotions to the affirmation as a way to allow yourself to think about how good it feels to fulfill that affirmation. Think about what it would feel like when you, maybe your affirmation is, I am kind to my coworker. And you're thinking about a coworker in particular. You can put their name if you want to, because it's your affirmation. Nobody else should see them. But think about how good you feel after you continue to repeat that and say that and remind yourself. And maybe a couple months from now, said coworker does something little contentious and you don't respond to them in the way that you would have responded to them 2 months ago. How good does that feel to know I empowered myself in this situation? I took the power back from that person. I did not allow them, their attitude, their words, their eye rolls, their whatever, to affect my mood, my day, how I experience my life today. Because it's a work day, but that's a day out of your life. And those moments put together make up your life. Life is short, so we don't have time and space to flippantly give our energy away to things that don't matter, or to people who don't matter, or to people who make us feel some type of way, but you're over here upset and nursing an ulcer, and they're off living their best life, and they don't even know that you're upset with them about something, right? They're living peacefully and happily, and you're the one stressed. What sense is that? You're taking time out of your joy. You're giving up your joy, right? Instead of simply repeating your affirmation, concentrate on the emotion you want to feel behind it. The more that you work on believing them, the more true they will become. Repetition builds belief, and positive belief builds success. So, as I'm ending, resist the temptation to pick yourself apart. You are not broken. Reject the world's narrative that you need to be fixed, that something that's wrong with you. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Burnout is not a badge of honor. And too many of us pride ourselves on how far we can push ourselves before we fall apart, right? Like, especially as caregivers. Some of us have aging parents, or you may have a child with special needs. Children in general just take a lot, but some of us pride ourselves on being the martyr almost, and being the one that everybody can count on and come to. And there's nothing wrong with being dependable, but when dependable becomes detrimental to you, then a shift has to be made. You only get one of you.
Yeah.
I will not wear burnout as a badge of honor. I will do the best I can today while giving myself grace and compassion for whatever remains undone. I deserve to treat myself with unconditional compassion and kindness. Some of us treat other people better than we treat ourselves. And I think the world would be a different place if we changed that, right? When I take care of and nourish the person I'm called to be, I create the space necessary to fulfill my purpose in the world and make it a better place for the exceptional people who come after me. So this is not just an investment in you. It's a legacy that you're leaving behind. And it didn't really hit me or occur to me how important this concept is until I had my own children, until I had my daughter. She's 9 now. And I remember, even from such a young age, everything I did, she wanted to imitate it. Everything I was doing, she was doing it. I used to have a baking business. She was in the kitchen with me with her own little kid-size, utensils, trying to mix up things. And when I saw just how meticulously she imitated me, I realized then that self-neglect was not something I wanted her to imitate from me. That was not a legacy that I wanted to leave for her. I didn't want her to grow up and say, oh, my mom ran herself into the ground. She was always exhausted and always irritated, and she was always sick because she wasn't taking care of herself. And I also don't want her to think that self-neglect is how you love other people. That they are not mutually exclusive. I don't have to neglect myself in order to love other people. I can love myself and love others at the same time. Because sometimes I wonder the way that I have treated myself or the way that I have behaved. If I saw my daughter treating herself that way, or neglecting herself in order to give the world to everybody else, it will break my heart. So sometimes we have more empathy or sympathy for other people than we do for ourselves. Sometimes that's a good way to think about it, right? If this were my child or someone that I loved and I saw them doing things the way that I'm doing them, would I be okay with that? Would I be at peace with them? If not, then I need to make some changes so that I can set it. Make questions?
Sure.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So got a few million. Most of them, you probably get asked this question. But your tagline is, inspires right there, 7. But your message is,
This universe, actually.
so why not bring any difference space? That's when you package it. That makes it good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course. Of course. So, the short, honest answer is, in this industry, you would have to choose an audience.
Yeah, so I thought that.
Yeah. So when I started out, I think I maybe was naive or arrogant enough to believe that I could circumvent that, right? Like, I don't have to set. I'm for everybody. And my messages do speak to a lot of people. The majority of my following is female, but I do have a fairly large male following. But as far as branding colors and advertising and PR and press and all these different things, you kind of have to choose a demographic that's your niche, that you're focusing on in order to tailor everything onto them.
But yeah, we need it.
You absolutely do. You absolutely do.
Probably more.
Men need it. I mean, I have.
But my wife said, yeah, I do.
Yeah, I have male counseling clients, so I absolutely agree that it is something that is needed for men as well, and I certainly am not opposed to speaking to men about any of these topics. It's just gotta kind of think alike here.
Great job. Great.
Thank you so much. But thank you for asking. Thank you. Anybody else? Questioning, comment?
No, listen, we were listening to James E. Burke this morning. He's 87.
Yeah.
A lot of what you said was what he said. Really, the wisdom that he has gained is that when you just let God speak through you, the word comes through you, and quit trying to make it happen. It's when it happens.
Absolutely.
Like 13 years of that's what? And when you quit, when you just stop, they just stop. And then it stops. And it's like it's hurting. It's coming through.
Right. Absolutely.
And when you said this is the second time you heard this say 187, an author.
39. 39.
So I just want to share that.
Thank you.
Because I thought that was strange. Not strange. It was a message that I heard this twice by two people and just had to admit.
That is something that I have to be very explicit about and very intentional, especially when I get people asking me to do things like I do counseling, I do speaking, I write, obviously, and I also do a lot of brand partnerships with different brands and companies on social media. And so I constantly have companies reaching out to me saying, hey, would you like to be a brand ambassador for us? Would you like to do this? We'll send you free stuff. We'll pay you money. We'll do all this stuff. And can you just can you write a bunch of those notes for us? Right. And these say, so then I go tell my story all over again, and still they don't always put two and two together. It is like I am like this, like a funnel or a vessel. This is not me. I do not sit at home at a desk and think up things to write down.
That was good.
I can't come up with this stuff. If it wouldn't be authentic, it wouldn't resonate with people. I think it resonates with people because it's inspired, because it comes from him. And there are times, God knows there are times, I'm not a morning person. I'm not a morning person. Again, that's fun. That's fun. And there are times when in the morning or even the middle of the night, something comes to me, and in my mind, I'm like, okay, Jesus, when I wake up, I'll write that down. Or when I wake up, I'll post that. Or I could be in the middle of working in their office throughout the day and something comes. I'm like, okay, when I get done with this document, I'll do that. And he's like,
Oh.
like it's almost like I can't even focus on the thing that I was trying to do because he keeps the volume. Like, right. He keeps knocking me on the head with it. And so then I have to write it and I have to share it. And inevitably, my inbox fills up with people. You have no idea how much I need in that moment. 5 minutes ago, I just had a conversation with somebody about that. Or I mean, I've had people say things like, I was really desperate in a bad place. I didn't want to live anymore. And I told myself that if I opened up Instagram and I saw something that like motivated me or helped me, that I wouldn't self-harm. I wouldn't hurt myself. And your note's the first thing that I saw. Thank you for saving my life. Like, you guys are not innocent. That's why this is a blessing. I mean, because to hear things like that is, I never could have planned. I never could have planned it. I never would have or would have asked for it. I don't do this because I wanted to. I do it because I was led to. And I know that my traumatic experience led me to do this thing that I think slowly but surely is helping other people see themselves a little bit clearly, but also maybe giving them the permission to just be, to be okay with not being okay, to admit that they're having a hard time or they're struggling, to admit that I feel like I'm doing everything, I'm trying everything. I feel like I tried to do things in order the way I was supposed to, and life still didn't pan out the way I hoped it would. Yeah, I listen and I do what he tells me. Follow the rules. That's what he said. That's what he said too. He said, yes, and let's listen. It's all there. Even in the moments when I feel bad, like I really sometimes feel like I'm not being effective. It's like this work that I'm doing is not that big of a deal, or it's not that helpful, and I get discouraged, right? Then it never fails. He always drops something from somebody. Somebody sends me a random message or a text message or something, just saying, you have no idea how much I needed your words today. Like, people have said messages, are you hiding in my house? You don't care. You don't care what's in my house. Are you in the backyard? No. But what I do know is that we live in a world that is constantly trying to pit us against each other and emphasize all the ways that we are different and the ways that, we we don't have things in common, but we have more in common than we realize. We're all spiritual beings having a human experience. And, you know, we may not all be in the same boat, but we are all out there in the middle of the ocean. And some of us are in yachts, some of us are in speedboats, some in fishing boats, some of us are in a kayak, whatever it is, but we all experience similar challenges sometimes. But not many of us are willing to be open and honest and transparent about those that other people don't feel. And I think that's one of my missions, and something that motivates me is just to let people know that you are not alone. The things that you're struggling with, there's a whole bunch of other people struggling with them too. They may look like they're having an easier time with it, or they're not, but you're not alone. You're seen, you are heard, and you're understood, and you're loved unconditional. So, thank you.